Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about fencing times and incorporating that into your pel work and also into your fighting. Okay, so a fencing time is basically a turn, an action. Okay, so it's kind of like if you think about playing checkers, right? You each take turns. You go, your opponent goes. You go, your opponent goes. If you think back to when you were, I don't know, 6, 7 years old and you first learned how to start playing checkers, the easiest way for you to win in checkers was to take 2 turns, okay? You know, when your sibling wasn't looking. Or the easiest way for you to lose, right, is while you weren't paying attention, right, your sibling took 2 turns, okay? So if you can skip ahead, you have a pretty big advantage. Now, with regards to your sword fighting or your sword techniques, right, I'm going to start off with my shoulder here. So each action counts as a turn, right, or fencing time, or beat, as people will refer to it. So if I start from my shoulder here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So let's do it again. So 1, 2, right? So if I start my attack, that's my attack, and then my recovery counts as a fencing time, okay? So one of the ways that somebody can take advantage of that, right, is while you throw, right, they block it, right? If they're nice, right, they'll wait for you to recover before they throw a shot, right, and allow you time to block it. If they're playing to win, what they're going to do is you throw while you are recovering. They're following your sword back, and they hit you. Okay, so now they've skipped ahead. They've skipped a turn. Okay, so let me do this with the small shield here. So with the shield here, right? If I'm not taking advantage, right? So my opponent throws a shot, 1, 2, right? 1, 2, right? Now, if I want to skip ahead, they throw a shot, 1, right? So as they throw their shot, right, I'm going to block it. So I'm using this shield because I have to punch block with the shield because it's a smaller shield. And it's easier for you guys to visualize the block. You can actually see it happening. So what I don't want to do is go 1, 2, right? I want to go 1, okay? Right? So I don't want to go 1, 2, 3. No. I go 1 and then recover. Okay? So that's taking advantage, you know, of the fencing times, trying to skip ahead. So I can take further advantage of this and put the shield down. Okay, so is basically if anytime you're attacking the same side, right? So if I'm on my left side here, right, and I attack, let's say left side, I recover, right? That's a full action. If I go to the other side, I can basically skip a step. Okay, so if I go here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it took me 1 step less to get back to my shoulder. Okay, so the reason for that is because when I throw my shot, what I'm doing is instead of recovering all the way to my shoulder, I'm using the recovery to power the next shot. Okay, so I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping a turn basically by attacking the other side. Okay, so 1, 2, and then back to the shoulder. Okay, so most people that have been fighting for a while, even if they've never heard the term fencing terms, they're aware that if you get attacked on one side, the fastest place for your opponent to go next is someplace on the other side. Okay, so for that reason, if let's say somebody attacks me on this side over here, I'm expecting the next shot to be somewhere on the other side. Or if they attack this side here, I'm expecting the next shot to go to the other side. So that's the expectation because that is the easiest. It takes the least amount of energy, right, to go from there to there, right? That takes less energy there to there versus going there, coming back, and going again. So because people expect people to do the easiest thing, a lot of times I'll cheat this, right, by doubling up on the same side, right? So if I'm here, 1, maybe come up and stutter or lean into it, right? So here, and then boom, just throw it right back, okay? Or throw it there, come back. They're expecting it on the other side and go to the leg, okay? So that's a way that you can take advantage of fencing times and the expectations that people have, okay? So another way to take advantage of this is with the thrust, okay? The thrust is really good for taking advantage of fencing times because what the thrust was happening is you throw it, you cut, and then from there that can turn into a thrust, right? So I don't have to recover the sword, right? So if I throw my cut, I don't have to come back here and thrust, right? From there I can just push through with the thrust, right? So there, and then just follow up with the thrust. So the thrust is a way to gain the fencing time. It's almost a single action, right? So if you cut and thrust, I mean, your hand's right there. It really doesn't take you that much longer. Now, the other advantage of the thrust is that it's easy for you to change directions. So if I make a thrust, right? Look at my hand here. If I make a thrust with my palm facing down, okay, the easiest thing for me to do is then roll a cut to the other side. If I make a thrust with my palm facing up, then the cut's going to go to the other side. Okay, so depending on how I thrust, palm down, it'll go that side, or if I thrust palm up, it'll go to the other side. So the subtlety of if the palm is up or the palm is down is not something that's easy to see in the fight. I mean, you gotta have somebody that's really paying attention to the details. So using that thrust and going, you know, sometimes switching your thrust to palm down, sometimes switching it to palm up, that will change up which side your follow-up cut will be to, okay? So this is something that you want to incorporate into your pellet work. When you first start learning to fight, usually we're concerned with like body mechanics and how we're going to generate power, right? So that's usually in the first 6 months to a year, right? So, you know, first 6 months to a year, you're talking about using your hips, right? And I did a separate video on power generation, right? You can turn your hips into the shot, you can step forward into the shot, you can use your lats to throw it to power, you can close your hand. So there's lots of different ways to generate power. So in the first like 6 months to a year when you first start doing your pellet work, these are the things that you're mostly, you know, you're trying to learn and you're trying to build up that muscle memory. So after that first year, when you're doing your pellet work, okay, now you're thinking about fighting, okay? So you want to treat the pellet as somebody that you're actually fighting and think about what they're doing, right? So if I'm here, visualize the block, cut, okay? You know, block, cut. So work the blocks into your pellet work, you know, both you know, initiating the attacks, but also being reactive, right? So think about if they're going to block your leg, how are you going to block that leg? With a small shield like this, I have to punch block it, right? So I got to punch block, and then I want to follow up to the opening, okay? Now with the sword and shield, okay, what I have is here is a disconnected offense-defense, okay? So the shield can be on 100% defense, while the sword is on offense. So I can basically block here and then just cut to the leg because the shield is blocking. So the sword can go anywhere because I can rely on the shield for that defense. But if I go to a two-handed sword, put this down. So if I go to the two-handed sword here, right? So now I have what's called a connected offense-defense, okay? So essentially what's happening is this part of the sword here is blocking me while that part up there is attacking, okay? So I cannot just attack somebody's leg and leave my head open. If I'm going to attack somebody's leg, it has to be like this, right? Because this has to be blocking while I'm attacking, okay? So again, that's one of the things that you want to work into your pellet work. And the same concept, think about those fencing times, right? So if I'm here, think about 1, 2, right? That's 2 actions, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? If I attack the other side, I can gain the fencing time, okay? So 1, 2, 3, right? So I gain a full fencing time by attacking the other side. And especially with people that fight with two-handed swords, they really expect you to attack the other side. So anytime I'm attacking here, right, people are usually going to shift their, from here, they're going to shift their defense to the other side because they know that's the most likely place I'm going to attack. And again, this is a place where you can take advantage of that, right? Because again, whether subconsciously or consciously, they're thinking about those fencing times in terms of where you are most likely to go next because it is the most efficient for you. So this is a place where instead of going to the other side, you can attack, you can double up on the same side, okay? So again, same deal here with the pal work. Visualize actually fighting someone, right? So if I attack to that side, come back, maybe fake there, and then step and attack, right? So I'm now treating this like it's somebody that I'm actually fighting, okay? Or if I attack left side, right, they're expecting, I can actually come back, start here, and then come back to the other side. So I can actually start the motion as if I'm going to the other side, and then step and bring it back to that side over there, okay? So again, the same deal here. People, especially with the two-handed sword, are very conscious, maybe very or subconsciously conscious of this idea of fencing times and where you are most likely to go. And the quickest fencing time is a cut, followed up with a thrust. Okay, so this is where you cut and then just step forward. Right, you meet the blade and then step forward. So that's the fastest attack that you can make. It's especially if it's to the face. It's basically a game ender. So these are things that people are expecting. Now, one of the things that people, because a lot of times people think right side to left side to right side. A lot of people are aware of the cut to thrust, but what a lot of times people don't think about is the undercut, right? So from the undercut, right, so my hands are high, so I'm blocking my head and my body here. So from the undercut, right, I can either attack left side or I can attack right side, right? So, I'm centered up to the camera over there. I can go there or I can go there, okay? So you can use that undercut to gain offensive time. Because if I go here, yeah, they know I'm probably going to go there. Or if I go here, they expect I'm going to go there, right? But if I go here, first of all, a lot of times people don't expect that undercut. I can go there, or I can go there. So again, that's something that you can drill into the, drill on the pellet, but drill it as if though you're actually fighting somebody, and think about what they're doing and how you're responding to them, right? And be aware that, hey, you do something, they're going to do something. You do something, they're going to do something. And think, okay, how can I skip a turn? What are the things that I can do to actually skip a turn and jump ahead of them, okay? Let's talk about polearm for a sec. So polearm also has two sides, right? Now, usually it actually has three sides, right? So you got this side, you got that side, but you also got that side there. So same deal with the polearm, right? With the polearm, if I make a cut, right, the fastest thing is going to be to follow up with the thrust, right? So if I make it, now usually with the polearm, it's longer, there's more weight here, so people tend to favor their strong side. Strong side being if I'm leading with my right hand is strong side. If I'm leading with my left side is strong side. So with the two-handed sword, because this is light and your hands are close together, it is really not that hard to go to the other side, right? To the off side, right? Because your hands are together. I can just quickly switch it. I can go either way, right? Because my hands are so close together. But with the polearm, okay, because there's more weight here, and because as you're striking harder and faster, there's the weight of the head drives you forward. People tend to favor their strong side, okay? So again, strong side is, if you're fighting right-handed, your right side is going to be your strong side. If you're fighting left-handed, my left side is now my left side. So people are going to favor their strong side, but that, and the people that you're fighting are also going to anticipate that from you, and that's where you have an advantage that you can take advantage of rather, if you know how to attack the other side. So with the polearm, the easiest is a cut to the strong side, followed up by a thrust, or just a thrust, maybe followed up by a cut to that strong side. The fastest follow-up shot from there, right? Now with the sword, it's going to the other side, right? Because of the weight that's involved here, the fastest shot here is going to be with the butt spike, okay? Because what's happening is as I make my cut there, while this is recovering, that's setting up that for a thrust, okay? So that's my fastest shot, my fastest shot, to go from this side to that side, as opposed to, let's say, with the two-handed sword, or even with the one-handed sword, okay, my fastest cut's going to be from one side to the other, right? Because this is fast and light, so that's going to be my fastest. Okay? Same deal with this. Because this is really fast, because of the weight distribution on that, it's really fast to go from one side to the other. That's not going to be so fast with the polearm. Okay, the fastest here, right? Well, the fastest going to be the follow, cut, thrust, and then from there, as you're recovering, as this is coming back, and people are usually looking at that, because if you just hit somebody with that, right, and they blocked it, and this is coming back, they're looking at that big scary head over there that they know it can hit them pretty hard. So as you're coming back, they're looking at that, they're not looking at that, okay? You just slide your head up and your hand up and you hit them like that. So that's going to be your really your third fastest shot, right? Because the fastest is going to be cut to thrust, butt spike, right? And you can just play this back and forth, okay? The next fastest is going to be your back cut, okay? So the back cut is something that works best against a shield, right? Because if I try to do a back cut, let's talk about what the back cut is. Back cut is, instead of cutting there, I'm actually going to pull my arms in, right? So instead of letting the pole go there, I'm going to pull my arms in so that the pole comes through and then come back and hit you on the other side, okay? So I'm pulling, I'm using my body and I'm torquing back and I'm hitting you with the back side of the polearm, okay? So now in order to do that, like I said, I got to pull my arms here. If I'm fighting against another pole, yeah, I'm leaving myself wide open here. So it's not the best option against another pole. However, against a shield, right, which has a shorter sword, that's a good option, right? From here, now you can come back on this side and you can get on the inside of their shield, either with the cut or you can come in with the thrust, okay? So you do that by pulling short and coming back, okay? So that's a really fast shot against the shield man, okay? Again, against another pole, yeah, if you pull your arm short, you're leaving yourself wide open. So that's something you gotta do. You gotta be a little careful about. But you have another option for attacking the pole man on the other side. Okay? So the way you're gonna attack on that side, right, is what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this hand here and you're gonna drive that into your shoulder, okay, and that's how you get to the other side, or into your armpit rather. Right? You see how I'm doing that? So I'm driving into my armpit, right? And that's how you get to the other side, okay? All right, so from there. I've shortened this up a lot now because of the short ceiling in here, okay? All right, so from there you can actually tick-tock back and forth. There. So you can go back and forth once you learn this technique of swinging into your armpit, okay? And then you attack there. So that's really quick. That allows you to attack either side. But one of the other things that I will do is, and I'll do this with the Greatsword as well, I like to take a high vertical guard, okay? Because from this high vertical guard, you know, I can attack, it's a very subtle motion to attack left or to attack right, okay? Because if I'm coming, let's say, here, right, like this, like horizontal, they know that it's coming from this side, and that they can easily block it. Or if I'm coming here, they know it's coming from the other side, right? Because from here, I can't switch it, you know, but if I'm vertical, right, I can start here, and I can very easily bring it there, right? Or I can actually lean left a little bit, and then go right. Or lean right, and go left, okay? Because I'm holding the center here, and I can either, you know, it's very subtle motion to go left or right. With the polearm, one of my favorite guards is basically just holding it from here in the center. Okay, because from here, especially if you got somebody that likes to thrust, you know, it's basically 6 inches left or right, right? If I'm holding it like this diagonally, what I find is that it leaves the issue that I have here is like if somebody's thrusting at me here, okay, great, that's a 6-inch motion back and forth. But if somebody's thrusting up here, now that's 12 inches from this direction to that direction, okay? So that's a 12-inch motion, right? Right. If somebody's thrusting down here, right, now I gotta go in the other way, right? So if I'm holding this diagonally, depending on where they're thrusting at, you know, it's a different motion, right? It's 6 inches in the center, it's 12 inches to the left up here, and it's 12 inches to the right down here. And that's too much thinking for my particular taste. So I like holding center here, right? Threatening with the point, right? So now if they're thrusting at me, no matter where they're thrusting at me, whether it's head, you know, midsection or hips, it's about 6 inches either way. And then I have the ability to attack from there. And also from here, I'm in a position where I can, you know, it's a solo attack, whether I want to attack left or right, I can attack either side. Okay? And it's very subtle because it's not coming in like way horizontal like this. It's just coming from here to there. Okay, so these are the things that you want to, like when you do your pel work, think about these fencing times and think like, okay, I've got the pole here, right? Okay, somebody attacks me, right? I'm going to block it, right? I block it from here. So now the pole's over here. What's the fastest thing I can do? Well, if the pole's over here, fastest thing is just to attack there. What if they're on this side? They come on this side now. What's the fastest thing to do from here if they come to that side? Well, here I got to cross my hands, but there I can throw the butt spike without crossing my hands, okay? So this is what I mean about visualizing the attacks, okay? So if they come on this side, I bring it over here, yeah, I can thrust, I can attack to this side. If they come on this side, I'm going to butt spike because that's the easiest, okay? So as you visualize these, you know, the pel actually attacking you, and think about what's the fastest response. Okay, what's the fastest thing to do? Because you know, again, it's a game of checkers basically. Everybody gets a turn. You take a turn, he takes a turn. You get a turn, he gets a turn. If you waste a turn, you're going to get killed. Okay, if you can get the other guy to waste a turn, you got the advantage. Okay, or if you can do something that takes, like where you can kind of skip ahead, right? Like for example, like a cut and to straight the thrust. Again, you're gaining a fencing time, right? Or if you go cut to now butt spike, you've gained the fencing time, so you're ahead. Okay, so when you're on the pel, think of the pel as somebody that you're actually fighting, and visualize what they're doing to you and what you're doing in response in order to beat them. Okay, so drop some comments, let me know what you guys think. Talk to y'all soon. Hey everyone, I want to add one more thing with regards to the pel work and treating the pel like it's somebody that you're actually fighting. Because a lot of times I'll see people standing in front of the pel and just throwing like non-stop combinations, okay? So we don't want like this huge difference between like what we do on the pel and what we actually do when we're fighting, okay? So you might be able to stand in front of the pel and throw like a 7, 8, 10 shot combination. But when you actually fight, do you throw that many combinations? Okay, especially when you've already been fighting for 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, most people, not all people, but most people don't do more than 2 or 3 shot combos. Okay, most people when they fight, they're going to start from out of range, right? A lot of times they'll throw a shot, maybe they'll throw a couple of sniping shots from out of range, throw another shot to get in range. You know, do another, you know, combination and then get back out of range, right? And assess the situation. So that's a more realistic way that most people fight. And unless you fight drastically different, right? Unless you're somebody that goes like belly to belly with people and just unloads non-stop combination. If that's the way you fight and that's how you want to fight, that's another story, right? Because now you're practicing what you want to do, okay? And we're not going to be discussing whether that's a good idea or bad idea right now in this video. But as long as you're practicing the way that you are actually going to fight, that's fine. But if the way that you fight is you'll throw 1 or 2 shots or 3 shots from out of range, get in a little closer, throw another 2-shot combos maybe, get back out, reassess, maybe get back in, going in and out from different angles. If that's what you normally do, then that's what you want to do on the Pel, right? That's how you want to practice. So the issue with like 6, 7, 8-shot combos is that in real fighting, right? When we're fighting, as people throw more than 2 or 3 combinations, the shield tends to open up. Okay, so that's even with experienced fighters. So that's why, I've been fighting for 17 years. I rarely throw more than 2 or 3 combo shots. Okay, and it's usually not even that much. Usually the fake, right? A fake counts as a shot, right? Because that gets somebody to react. So it'll be fake, boom, boom. Okay, and then I'm out and assessing what they did, right? Then boom, out. Okay, so that's more realistic to the way that I actually fight. So that's what I want to practice on the Pel. I don't want to do just non-stop combinations. Okay. The other thing is with pursuing, right? Usually when we're fighting, what happens a lot of times, people, especially new fighters, they tend to pursue a lot. Okay, and that's not what you will do on the Pel, because the Pel isn't going to run away from you. But keep in mind that experienced fighters are going to back up, because they know that a newer fighter, after they take 2, 3, 4 shots, as they take 4 steps, right? As people take more steps in pursuing, right? By the 4th step, the shield starts opening up, and now they got an easy shot. Okay, so that's something that you want to have in your mindset when you're pelling, when you're doing your Pel work. So you don't, so you can back up 4 steps, right? Right, and then you can practice how you're going to come in, right? Keeping the shield closed, right? Keeping your arm over as you step over, do your combo and then get out. And then this way you're kind of ingraining this idea that, hey, I'm not going to take more than 3 or 4 steps, because if I take more than 3 or 4 steps, I'm probably going to start getting sloppy. Okay, so again, this is a way to use the Pel, to ingrain that footwork where 3 steps, 4 steps, or 5 steps, whatever it is for you, is your max. Because everybody, if you take too many steps, you're probably going to start opening up the shield. It's just a natural thing, because as you start running faster and faster, things tend to open up wider and wider. So think about these things. And think about ways to integrate this into your Pel work. Like, how do you actually fight? How do you go from out of range, in range, right? How do you engage? How do you exit, right? Do you exit left? Do you exit right? With a lot of new fighters, what they tend to do is, they do a lot of this belly-to-belly fighting, right? Because they have it ingrained getting out here. So, practice, throw maybe 2 sniping shots, come in, do your combo, and then get out, practice getting out, so you're not staying in there going belly to belly. Because what tends to happen is, if you go to belly to belly with a more experienced fighter, they're going to subtly change angles on you. You're not going to realize it. So they've shifted, you're still there facing that way, and now they're on your 45, and they got openings that you don't realize that they have. Okay, so again, integrate into your Pel work the way that you actually fight, or where you want to go, right? Don't just do a million shot combinations, okay? Because that's not what you're going to do, especially after you've been fighting for 3 or 4 minutes and you're starting to get tired. You're probably going to be only throwing 2 or 3 shot combinations max, okay? So talk to you all soon.